what is the utmost duty of humans? What is our utmost duty as humans in this life? What listening to Srimad Bhagavatam came across this question asked by Maharaj Parikshit to Shukdev Goswami. And the reference is Srimad Bhagavat, Canto 1, Chapter 19, and Shlok number 24. And the Shlok is Tatascha va prichyam imam viprache vishrabhya vipra iti kriti atyatam sarvatmana miryamanescha krityam shuddham cha tatra drishtam abhiyukta. That's the Sanskrit Shlok. Simple translation means Maharaj Parikshit is asking, I ask you about my immediate duty to Shiv Sukdev Goswami. Please, after proper deliberation, tell me of the unalloyed duty of everyone in all circumstances, specifically of those who are about to die. That was his question he put to the Sukdev Goswami. Below is the reply he gave, and the reference is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, and Shloka number 6. Save punsam paro dharma yato bhaktir adokshache ahituki aprahito ye atma suprasidati. Translation: the supreme occupation or the supreme dharma of all humanity is that by which man can attain the living devotional service must be unmotivated, uninterrupted, and completely satisfy the man, satisfy you. And so what it means that this should not be a weekend job that you do it on weekend and rest of the week. It has to be continuous. That is what is important. And that is what he's saying. The bhakti you do is your supreme dharma, but it should be unmotivated, no selfish interest, and continuous, no break. Vedanta Sutra 1.1 also says, Atho Brahma Jigyasa. Now you inquire about Brahma, about Brahman. That is, or about the God. That is also God's. Till then, I had not paid much attention to the supreme dharma, what Shukdevji told Maharaj Parikshit. Slowly and slowly, I started on this path, and it is work in progress. If we have not done something in early life, it is hard to do in old age. People always say, Uncle, you are retired, you are old, for you it's easy to do all this. We are busy raising children, but believe me, when you are old and you start doing it, you fall asleep and you have no interest. After one round of mala, you say, that's enough, Uncle. Let me watch the TV or whatever Netflix has tonight. So believe me, if you are not doing now, at younger age, it will be hard to do it. That's my experience I'm sharing. The second lesson I learned is we spend whole life accumulating material things, cars, house, wealth, etc. In the end, we cannot take anything with us. We all know that even a needle we cannot. So the question I ask, what can we take? And how do we get it? And I asked the Guru who was giving the lecture from ISKCON, and he said that it is the bhakti what you can take with it. And I illustrated with a story. There was a poor man who needed money for his daughter's marriage. Somebody advised him, go to a Swami in Vrindavan, he will help you. He went to the Swami and asked him, how could I get money for my daughter's marriage? Swamiji told him, get a stone from a waste paper basket outside my cottage. He brought it and Swamiji instructed, you touch it to an iron piece, it will become gold. So it was that mythical, what they call paras money. The man took it, made a lot of gold, got his daughter married. After marriage, he started thinking, if it was such a valuable thing, why did the Swamiji put it in a waste paper basket outside his cottage? That means he has something more important than this. And the thought bothered him. Finally, he decided to go back. He went to the Swamiji. He said, please explain me this valuable stone. Why did you keep it in the waste paper basket? It means you have something better than this. Please tell me what it is. Swamiji smiled. He said, you first take it and throw in the Yamuna river, and then come back, and I'll tell you what is that. So he did it, and then Swamiji told him that more important, more valuable is the Mahamantra, which in ISKCON they say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So that is more valuable than this paras money. So bhakti is our utmost dharma. It is the only thing which we can take with us. Nothing else we can take. But bhakti is the account which we can take into next life. For example, if we make effort and we are 1% successful in this life, then the next life we start from 1%. And how do we do? The Lord gives us birth in a family which is conducive environment. And the shloka in chapter 2 and the shloka number 40, Lord Krishna guarantees it. That's how I do it. So there is no loss in bhakti, and that is the only thing we carry in next life. So that was my lesson number 2. Now lesson number 3, one day I was sitting and I read that, let me put my glasses, getting a little dark here. Parasa Rishi has given definition of Bhagwan. Who is Bhagwan? He says, one who has full strength, full fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and strength. These are the characteristics of Bhagwan given by Parasa Rishi. Now, when we buy a little thing like a toaster, we come with an instruction manual. And I started wondering, God sent us here in this world, where is my manual for life? How do I live? How do I eat? Which is good, which is bad? What is my dharma? I kept thinking, suddenly realized that manual is Bhagavad Gita, which he wrote himself or spoke himself 5,200 years back in the battle of Mahabharata. There has been no reprint, no errors, and that is our manual for life. And when I started reading, I found it has answers to all our problems of life. Unfortunately, we put it in a red cloth and put it in a closet or cabinet. So that is our life manual. And the more I read, and the simple example is that Arjun was the first patient of this psychological, that he gives up his candy and doesn't want to fight. Now Lord cares him. In 45 minutes is my information. Whole Gita was delivered in 45. He was cured of that depression without any medicine. So that is a simple example how Gita has all the answers to our question. So please read it, but the problem is it's not a simple book we can understand. Concepts are hard to follow, hard to understand. So you need a right guru, right knowledgeable guru who can interpret for them and read and read. One reading will not be suffice. You have to read again and again and get the concepts. Now, the next lesson I learned was what is our duty towards adult children. Every one of us will find our own answers. When does our duty towards adult children end? That is the question I raised to myself. I have two children, they are grown up, they are settled in their life, they don't need help from me. What is my duty to them now? Does it end when our children are settled, can take care of their families financially? What is the best use of the money left over after taking care or making enough provision for our retirement? So our children don't need money, they are well settled. So what do we do? What is our duty? What should we do? Problem of leaving money for children is that that money could be spent by them in the things which may not be consistent with our life. And this is what every one of us has to find a solution or act. For example, I don't eat meat. I don't drink also. I don't smoke. Now if I leave my money, children, and they eat meat with my money, who gets the sinful activity? Is it a pap karma for me? Does it go in my account? My guru tells yes. Guru's example is you give him money to a guy, he bought a gun and kills somebody. He will be hanged in the court, but morally you have some responsibility. So that is a big question in the mind. Now, Bharat Rishi has told that money have three uses. You spend on yourself, you spend on your family, or you give it to needy person. After that, what is left is wasted. और जिसे कहते हैं नाश हो जाता है उस पैसे का. So this is what Bharat Rishi has said. Now it says you give it to needy person. How much do you give? Garud Puran says 10%. So, and why you give it to? Needy person, or as we go to Dan. What is the reason behind? Simple example is, can everybody hear? I think you can hear me. So the simple example is, some of us or most of us, before eating food, offer to God. And after that it becomes prasad. What does God do? Why do we do it? And simple answer is, before the food comes on the table, there are insects which are killed, fertilizers, and that is a sinful act. So when we offer it to God, He cleanses it. He doesn't eat. Food is still same, and it becomes prasad. So He absolves us from that simple duty, simple activity. Similarly, we may be earning money honestly. Most of us who work for somebody, we don't take bribes, so our earning is, but we don't know where the employer got or where the money came. So when you give a part of it to Dan, similar to food, your money is purified. So that is the reason behind offering money to dawn. That does not mean that people earn from different sinful activity, offer a bit to the temple. God is not a washing machine that he will take dirty money and wash it out. And he's not also a waiter. You go in the temple and say, God, I need this, I need a good husband for my daughter. He's not a waiter. So please remember that God is not a waiter and he's not a washing machine for dirty money. So that was my next lesson, and I'm still struggling because I have not decided. And the other thing is that we go to bear with me. The concept of Ati Devo Bhav is getting increasingly out of practice. Families are getting more nuclear. Most of the families these days are me, my wife, and children. Parents do not live with children. Parents live alone. And this problem is aggravated if one passes. Now, there is one person, he is alone, children don't live with him, so that causes loneliness. And loneliness causes mental sickness. So I have dealt on this topic in previous talks in BSNA virtual conventions. I quote a poem from a book by Ekta Saxena. I was in Delhi, recently came back, anyhow. That practice of greeting elders with either touching their feet or pranam is dying down. And who are the losers? The youngers. And why they are losers? I illustrate with the incident from Mahabharata. Duryodhana taunted Bhisham Pitame, who was commander-in-chief of his army, that he will never kill Arjuna. He is your favorite grandson. Bhisham Pitame takes a vow. Arjuna will not see the sunset tomorrow. When Draupadi finds out, she is worried. So she goes to Lord Krishna. He advises that in the end of the day, when war was over, go to Bhisham Pitame. She goes there, enters his tent and says, Pralam Pitame. And he immediately says, Akhand Saubhagyavati Bhav. Then he immediately realizes that in the morning I have said that. Now she is saved, Arjuna is not killed. So when we give Ashirwad, it's not free. We have two accounts, one for Ashirwad, one for our simple. When we curse somebody, that another account. Now that Ashirwad account has to be replenished with pious activities occasionally. And the other account increases when we curse people and we suffer for that. So that is why this old practice of elders not greeting by hi, bye, that is not recommended. Number one is teach your children to handle failure. Failure is part of life. If you don't teach them, they will fall apart. Whether relationship, bad grades, that is number one. And number two, teach them that shloka, karmedva adhikaras. If you teach them, if they get bad grade, they will not fall apart because result was never in their control. So for youngsters, those are the 2 points I will have. With short of time, I'll end here.
Mahendra, thank you very much. ऐसा करते हैं इसको certainly we'll have this talk on our website, a copy of that one. So this is good lesson for all the youngsters. Please download this one, and this will be a good lesson for everyone. Thank you, Mahendra. Give a big hand to him.